Ah, the rumor mill. It's all about the he says, she says.
Good news from Kabats for a change.
The grapevine is always a talking, always a transferring the information, and we always hear, you do know what they're making, don't you? Well, if any of the rumbling is right, there's actually some pretty big announcements in the pipeline. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, 10 games that are going to be announced soon. Starting off with number 10, it's Dead Rising Rec, R-E-C. Capcom's been kicking a lot of dust around lately, digging through their backlog of IPs in an effort to revitalize some of their less utilized franchises. Some of these games have been announced, like Okami 2, the new Onimusha game, and Mega Man Dual Override. Those are far from the only projects they're working on right now, though. One of the most significant ones is this game with the codename Rec. Insider sources say it's a Dead Rising game. Don't confuse it with the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster that came out back in 2024. It's not a remake. It is apparently an actual new entry in the franchise. It was assumed that the franchise was done after the fairly forgettable Dead Rising 4, but there are incredible sources from the website mpfirst.com that have been mostly right about these sort of things, and they're saying there is a new game coming, and it's apparently not that far off. That leads us to believe we'll probably be getting an announcement soon. As with everything else on this list, soon is of course a relative statement. That could be a few weeks, could be a few months, and hell, it could actually be never. That's just how it goes when you're dealing with leaks and rumors. Even the best insider information could be outdated or incorrect, or it could change too. Some suit could decide they just don't like Dead Rising and be like, let's stop that. All that said, there are a lot of details regarding a potential plot of Dead Rising Rec. For one thing, it's said to be a direct sequel to the first game. It will take place at a movie studio lot in Hollywood, and the main villain will be a crazed film director, and that psychopaths will play a prominent role as boss characters again. Sounds like the ideal Dead Rising game. They proved they could do these games again with the remake. I would love to see a proper follow-up. So, from the report, development started around 2023, so if this game's happening, I imagine it'd be revealed sometime this year. I hope so, at least. I'd love to see a new Dead Rising game out there. I'd definitely waste a bunch of time with it, I can tell you that. Something we've actually been hearing recently in our comment section is that people aren't getting all of our videos. Best way you can counteract that is enabling notifications. Also, it helps us out a ton, and we hope it helps you find some stuff you want to see. Thanks a lot for clicking the old bell. Let's get back to the video. Moving on to number 9, it's Far Cry 7. We've been hearing rumors about a new Far Cry game for quite a while now. Internally known as Project Blackbird, the game's apparently going to be set in Alaska. Your main character will be on a mission to rescue your kidnapped family from a gang of conspiracy theorists calling themselves the Sons of Truth. So far Cry. But what makes this interesting is the game apparently will have a 72-hour time to rescue your family, which equates to about 24 hours of real time. A new interrogation mechanic plays into how you find your missing family. Apparently, if you're too late, family members could die, which affects your story going forward. Risky and interesting concept for a series. It's been running fairly dry in terms of fresh ideas for a while now, but these specific rumors have been swirling for years now, and we don't have a game. So as of November 2025, there's been a new leak that tells us Alaskan Far Cry is probably still happening. The leak came from users digging through X-Defiant game files, where they found images of what looks like unannounced games in the Far Cry series. Some of them appear to be an extraction shooter version of the game set in a tropical location, while others show a photograph of a family in some bleak Alaskan wilderness, which fits in everything we've been hearing about Far Cry 7. So it seems like the development of the game is currently being actively pursued, but with no major Ubisoft games coming in the future other than somehow I don't know how, really, genuinely, but not canceled Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is it's never going to happen at this point. It would only make sense for Ubisoft to finally reveal this game so they don't have to do that. Seems like anything not to do before Good and Evil 2, right? There's got to be a new series entry eventually, at least from the leaks and rumors. Seems like it's pretty interesting too, so just let the cat out of the bag already, guys. I think you guys probably need it more than we do. And number 8 is a new Bloober team project. All started with a teaser website revealed on January 3rd, 2026, with a countdown timer that, as of this writing, is set to expire on February 15th. Along with a link to the website, Bloober team, the same guys behind the Silent Hill 2 remake, and the recent survival horror game Chronos: The New Dawn. Definitely a gem if you haven't played it. Maybe a little rough in a few minor patches, but overall really quality game. They added an additional message message. It says, "Dare to peek into the darkness." Nobody's quite sure what to make of it. There's a game the CEO said they were going to make at some point called Project M, although that's probably not the name of the game. It sounds very much like a code name. When the website updated to include a picture of a red rose and an excerpt of a William Blake poem, a lot of people immediately jumped to the conclusion it would be a Rule of Rose remake, even though Rule of Rose was published by Sony or Atlas or 505 Games, depending on where you live, and it's obscure enough among survival horror fans, people just assume it's their next project. Bloober has come out and said officially that the game is not a Rule of Rose remake and is going to be an original IP from the studio, which is surprising coming so soon after Chronos, but that's what they're saying. Early January, Bloober filed a trademark with the European Union Intellectual Property Office called Onyx the Dark Grip, so given that has a pretty similar naming scheme to Chronos the New Dawn, sounds like an original IP from Bloober team. It's likely that's the name of the game they're teasing with this website. All we know is the game, though, literally nothing else, but considering Bloober's bread and butter is horror, it's probably that. Probably a survival horror game, might be more gothic, might be more sci-fi, we don't know. Chronos was sci-fi though, so why not try gothic? Speculation on my part. Whatever it ends up being though, Chronos proves that the Silent Hill 2 remake was not a fluke. It's a good game. I highly recommend Chronos actually, so I'm looking forward to whatever the hell this is. And number 7 is Dead Island 3. I wouldn't blame anyone for thinking that this series is DOA. After the first game, Techland moved on to Dying Light, and the sequel was left in development hell for nearly a full decade. The project was finally pushed to a releasable state by Dambuster Studios, a developer that also pushed Homefront: The Revolution past the finish line. The Homefront sequel was a mess, but to the surprise of just about everyone, Dead Island 2 ended up being a pretty damn fun game. Managed to sell pretty well too. According to Deep Silver, the game was the largest launch in both units sold and revenue generated for the company. So it's not a surprise they're making a third one, but so far it hasn't been officially announced, at least not through the usual channels. There's no trailer, no press release about the game, but there is a recently submitted financial report from Dambuster which specifically mentions Dead Island 3 by name. The report says the game is planned for release in 2028 and that the game is currently in early production. Fans managed to find this financial document in early December 2025, so the game's clearly still in pre-alpha planning. They're planning on the game coming out in 2 years though, so I expect some sort of announcement fairly soon. Unless they want to do the thing where they reveal the game a few months before it comes out. That's always a possibility, but I feel like after the positive reception of Dead Island 2, it would make sense to reveal this game a little bit earlier than that. Whether it's revealed in a few months or a few years, it should be a game to watch out for. Dambusters have proven themselves as a pretty solid hand. They managed to turn that second game around in only a few years, and it was probably a disaster state when they got to it, so hopefully they'll be able to stick to their intended schedule with Dead Island 3. And number 6 is Insomniac's Venom spin-off. Wolverine might still be expected to release in 2026, but what comes after that? Obviously, there's going to be a Spider-Man 3 to wrap up the trilogy, but what else is this prolific first-party studio cooking up? The long-standing rumor has been that they're doing a full-blown Venom spin-off, similar in size to the Miles Morales game. At first, it seemed like mostly wish fulfillment from Marvel fans who just wanted to see more of the character, but an article in September 25, if it's to be believed, the possibility of a Venom spin-off is actually quite a bit more likely. We know that the Venom project is happening. It was leaked as part of an Insomniac data breach that saw parts of the still in development Wolverine leaked online. That doesn't automatically mean the project's going forward, but the article from mpfirst.com reveals potential plot information about the game, along with its scale, its potential villain, etc., etc. It just makes sense for Insomniac to do a Venom game. Spider-Man with teeth. Why make all that effort to make him playable in Spider-Man 2 to not use him ever again? Sure, the original owner of the symbiote is off the table in that world, but apparently this spin-off will star Eddie Brock, the classic Venom. Also, apparently he's going to be more in line with his comic book appearance. While he's mostly known for being a bad guy, he's the same character that went on to be the Lethal Protector, so it's likely that Venom will take on more of an anti-hero role in the story rather than a murderous bad guy. That would fit with the possible bad guy of the spin-off, who insiders are saying is going to be Carnage, aka Cletus Cassidy, which also makes sense because that character was heavily teased in the Spider-Man 2 game. Original plan was going to be Carnage was be the antagonist of the game's DLC, but Insomniac canceled that and apparently moved on to doing Venom. So with Wolverine coming out this year, I expect the studio is probably going to reveal the Venom game soon, possibly not until after Wolverine's out, but probably sometime this year. And number 5 is Lies of P2. The surprisingly excellent Lies of P started development in 2020, launched in 2023. In 2026, DLC was added to the game, which the developers said they went into treating like it was a sequel, but the actual straight-up Lies of P2 has yet to be announced officially. They have not even said what the next game will be, only that they are hard at work on the next game in the series and that it will not disappoint, which is a bland statement, about as bland as a developer can make. Still, I do expect a full announcement coming sometime soon. The developer NeoWiz has like 5 projects running, and none of them have been officially announced, but it's safe to say that the follow-up to Lies of P is probably the most anticipated and also probably the one they have the most vested interest in doing. We do know they intend to continue the story because they straight up tease a sequel at the end. It's insane they hint at a Wizard of Oz themed sequel, which sounds so dumb, but if anyone can make it work, it's these guys. They made a Pinocchio Souls-like. So yeah, that's all we've got to go on. The word of developer that says it is being worked on and to be continued at the end of the first game. Normally that wouldn't be a surefire sign of anything, but Lies of P did sell over 3 million copies. It was a big financial success for the developers, so it would only make sense to be a sequel that they're doing. They'd be very stupid if they weren't. They've got nothing announced at the moment, so I fully expect an actual reveal for the game. Whatever it's going to be called, Lies of Q, Lies of Oz, I don't know. Probably going to be announced this year, though. I really see that being a safe bet. And number 4 is the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake. No greater done deal on this list. This is one of the least good kept secrets in gaming. Leaks all over the place. Everyone knows about it, but Ubisoft still refuses to announce it. The only real question is whether they're gonna just straight up cancel it out of nowhere or not. You'd think after the recent wave of cancellations that got the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, that's done, so maybe this one's safe, but we don't really know anything about Ubisoft right now. Look at Beyond Good and Evil 2. They canceled 6 games. Beyond Good and Evil 2 technically isn't canceled. I mean, it could come out someday, but it's definitely not a game that's going to be announced anytime soon. Assassin's Creed, on the other hand, is a cash cow. It's the moneymaker, so it makes sense this game still lives and is likely to be announced soon. A relatively recent article from good old mpfirst.com literally has a headline that says reveal is imminent, and it's been 2 months since that was written. Probably still true, and we'll get an announcement sometime before summer with hopefully a release date sometime before the end of the year, right? It's apparently not just a standard upscale either, according to some leaks from last year. It's more ambitious than that. A lot of changes to the overall gameplay and story. At the same time, it is not going to be a full Resident Evil 2 style reimagining either. Something in between is going on. Apparently, they're making major changes like cutting the modern day story segments, thank God, and replacing them with more pirate stuff, thank God. There's also apparently certain bits of cut content that will be restored from the original. I don't know if that's a thank God or not, can't tell you. One exciting bit of information from the leak is that this version of the game eliminates loading screens when landing on major islands. I know Odyssey did that, but apparently they're doing that here too, which is great. There's a lot of information about this game. I wouldn't blame anyone for assuming it's already been announced, but it hasn't. At this point, it feels like they're going to announce it and release the game on the same day, but I mean, that was what we thought about Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. Remember January 16th? A day that will live in non-infamy forever because nothing happened on it? I don't know. Feels like there's going to be an announcement on this one though. And number 3, a Xenosaga or Xenoblade sequel. These games have been flagship RPGs for Nintendo for a long time now. If you include remakes and remasters, they've been releasing fairly consistently for a very long time now. One comes out, another gets announced pretty soon after. Right now, still don't know when the next game in the series is going to be, but some sleuthing from the community has revealed what could possibly be Monolith Soft's next game. Getting a little deep in the weeds, so try to follow. The voice actor, Caitlin Thorburn, recently updated their spotlight details with acting credits, which has a new entry that suggests they're doing work for a new Xenoblade Chronicles game. We know that Monolith has been hard at work on something for the past few years, executive directed by the longtime director of the series, Tetsuya Takahashi, but this is the first update we've gotten since 2024. What's interesting to fans is that the voice actor in question played Cosmos in Xenoblade 2, leading many to assume she's working on either a remake of that game or, if you want to be particularly ambitious, a new title in the series that somehow includes the character Cosmos. That'd be pretty wild because she originally appeared in the Xenosaga trilogy on the PlayStation 2. Her appearance in Xenoblade 2 is actually kind of a more non-canon cameo. The last DLC for the games, Future Connected, made a lot of implications connecting Xenosaga and Xenoblade, as well as references going as far back as Xenogears, with the Blade trilogy apparently wrapped up. This makes it possible the next game could be something entirely different, more aligned with the Saga series. It's a lot to extrapolate from a voice actor putting their game name on a resume, so it could be nothing. Still, these developers tend to move pretty quickly, and there's no new games on the docket at the moment, so I'm expecting them to announce something sometime this year. Moving on to number 2, From's next title might be a lot of smoke and no fire, you never know. But according to their sources, From Software is working on yet another game that isn't Duskbloods, the Nintendo Switch exclusive multiplayer whatever that we don't know a whole lot about yet. The information they received suggests From is hard at work on a separate project codenamed FMC, and apparently that is in advanced stages of development, so it's expected to launch this year, if their mystery source is to be believed. Assuming this is true, which you should never do, but for the purposes of this video, we kind of have to. That means there'll be 3 new From games in this year. We are 2 months into the year, so if this is real, we gotta have a reveal pretty soon. These guys are not in the business of shadow dropping anything, they know the power of hype. The reason they believe that FMC and Duskbloods are not the same thing is that Duskbloods is a Nintendo exclusive, and FMC is multi-platform. Nintendo does not regularly give up exclusivity particularly easily, so it's highly likely that whatever FMC is, it's either a remake of another From game or something completely new. If it's a remake, it's probably the Dark Souls 3 remake. If it's something completely new, who knows what the hell it is. The article isn't new, it's about 6 months old at time of writing, but that only makes the possibility of announcement more likely. To be frank, no matter when it is announced in the future, every day, every minute, every second, we are actually closer to it. So I guess that technically makes it more likely, right? More imminent, at least. And finally, at number 1, Tango Gameworks' next project. Been a wild ride for Tango. They had the critical and commercial success of Hi-Fi Rush. Xbox Game Studio heaped a bunch of praise on, cut them loose right when they were getting somewhere, and then they were inexplicably revived by Krafton, and their office fully reopened mid-2025. Still too early to realistically expect a new game from them launching this year, but 2026 would be the time for them to at least throw out a formal announcement for the next project, which, let's not kid ourselves, is probably going to be Hi-Fi Rush 2. The Krafton acquisition of Tango only included the Hi-Fi Rush IP. It didn't include their other games like The Evil Within or Ghostwire Tokyo, so that's what they have to work with. And again, it's the IP that got them all of the critical acclaim. It's the IP that was a success sales-wise, so it's probably the game that Krafton, their publisher, who now owns them, wants them to make. Another one of those. I certainly wouldn't be against Tango doing something new again, but now is not the time to be making risks. They're probably going to do the safe and easy thing that everybody wants, and everybody will be happy for. They're probably going to make Hi-Fi Rush 2. That's almost 100% certainly what they're doing right now. It's not confirmed, they haven't officially said anything, and hopefully Krafton's seeming incompetence with the handling of the Subnautica developer Unknown Worlds doesn't cause any trouble for Tango. Just about the worst possible outcome is to get our hopes up again with Tango coming back, only for them to get shut down again because Krafton's less than honorable or competent stewardship. Ignoring all that, Tango does great work. They were able to retain a lot of their original staff, and seems like things are going well for them, so hopefully we get a game announcement in 2026 to kick off their comeback tour. That's all I got for you. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, it's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first, of course, is subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. Join the 1% Club. Get the Falcon Show weekly on Saturdays exclusively with membership. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.